Welcome everyone to Las Vegas, where we have Praggnanandhaa analyzing with Nodirbek, Ray Robson, Wesley So, Sam Savian, Levon Aronian. He has the white pieces against none other than Magnus Carlsen, who's analyzing with Vidit, Bibisara, Sindarov, Caruana, Nakamura. Oh my goodness, what a group of people we have here. These are the first 10 minutes that you get before the game begins, where you can analyze different possibilities with all the players who have the specific piece color that you have. And here you can see Praggnanandhaa has finished his analysis with the members who have the white pieces and is now going to the chessboard. What is Prag thinking? Should he play 1 d4, 1 e4, 1 knight b3? It's the Fisher random position. Freestyle chess here. Praggnanandhaa takes his headphones there while Magnus Carlsen also comes in. He's taking up his sleeve there because the players are being given heart rate monitors that you need to be putting there. And Magnus arrives. It's a very, very interesting battle because this is the fourth round. Magnus is on 2.5 out of 3. He's in good spirits. Prag is also on 2.5 out of 3. Both of them good friends of each other, going to play for the same team, Team Liquid in EWC. And this will be interesting to see because Prag has always had good results against Magnus. I mean, Magnus also has beaten him several times, but this is a very interesting battle always when they sit opposite each other. Magnus puts on his black headphones. Prag has his white headphones. This is because you have a live crowd in the venue and they are, just so that you don't get disturbed at all. So the players have put on the headphones. The game is about to begin. The players shake hands with each other and off we go. Prag with white. You can see the pieces knight, rook, king. He plays knight out to b3. Quite a tricky position here because we hardly have any pieces on the same color on the board, on the same square as in normal traditional chess. Pawn to e4. With this, Praggnanandhaa opens up the bishop. Magnus plays symmetrically with pawn to e5. f3 played, opening up the bishop here. And Magnus brings his knight out to e6. This is a useful move, protecting the d4 and f4 square. Now a4, a very, very double-edged move. He wants to push the knight away, but Magnus picks up the pawn. And what is Prag's idea? Well, Prag wants to go rook a1, kick the knight away and take the pawn on a7. Pawn comes up to d6, defending the knight here. The bishop takes the pawn. Rook goes to a8, attacking the bishop here. And bishop comes back to f2. Pawn to c5 played. So black is gaining space in the center. Prag now stops c4 and also controls the d5 square. Pawn to f6, opening up the bishop. The complexity of the position keeps rising. d3 played. It's roundabout even. Magnus jumps in with his knight to d4. And now Praggnanandhaa pushes his pawn to c4. He's looking at the d5 square here. And b5, Magnus is going all in here. What an interesting move. With this, he's kind of opening up this bishop's diagonal. But Prag has a very specific way to kind of get a small advantage. He takes on d4, pawn takes. And the best move here is to jump with the knight on f5, and he finds it. Knight f5, attacking d6 and g7. The knight is excellently positioned. Rook comes up. Rook comes up here, and now queen to b4. Beautiful move by Prag, looking at the pawn on d6. And by the way, you can't take the rook. Knight d3 check, but Prag interposes it with a check of his own. What a move. Rook takes d6, taken by Magnus. A huge mistake. He should have played king b8, because then to queen c5, you have rook takes a1 hanging. And here, after rook d6, queen c5 check. Queen comes into c6. Prag gives another check. King comes up to d7. Prag totally winning here. He takes the pawn on b5. Queen takes, pawn takes. The position is totally winning for Pragg for a simple reason that he's 2 pawns up. He has a pawn on b2 and pawn on b5. He gives a check, king comes up, he chops off the third pawn. But Magnus gets back 1 pawn of his own. And now one thing that is in Magnus's favor is this pawn chain here. It's limiting the white pieces. Bishop goes to c2. And now the best move is rook c6. And Magnus is going for the rook. He finds it. Now bishop b3. Massive threat here. Pinning the bishop on c2. And he goes king b1. He goes check. King takes a2. Rook comes in to c2. Taking this pawn. Maybe this check wasn't the best idea. Rook a6 was better. But now after rook c2, Pragg jumps in with his bishop to h4. Attacking the pawn on f6. He also has this pawn covered, so everything looks very secure. Rook f8, Magnus plays to defend the pawn on f6. Pragg is right now 2 pawns up. King b1, I love this move. Rook comes to d2, and now Pragg finds a great move. He takes the open c file, bishop b6, and now there's another powerful move that Pragg has. Rook d7. How is Pragg finding one good move after another? Threat is to give a check and move in with his rook. He goes rook takes d3, check, rook a6, and Pragg can now bring his rook into c6 to pin the bishop. He finds it. In fact, he does it with the other rook. Rook d6, king comes up to b5, and now the f6 pawn is falling. He chops off the pawn on f6. Pragg, brilliant. Another pawn is falling. Rook d2 played, attacking b2 and g2 here. He takes another pawn on e5. Magnus chops off the pawn on g2. But another check. King goes to a6, and should we go in with the rook here? Pragg has 35 seconds, and he almost drops the rook. Rook c6 found. King goes back to b7. But with this rook being activated now, he goes rook h6. What a nice move. He's defending his own pawn, attacking the h7 pawn. Magnus tries to defend here with rook g6, but Pragg takes another pawn. King to a6, and pawn comes up to f4. He saved everything here. And Pragg goes to a2, rook e1, attacking the e4 pawn. Do you want to defend it? I believe Pragg has a very powerful move, which is rook h6. And the reason why it's so strong is because now you have bishop d4 coming in with the pin. The king goes back, but now rook b5 is game over. You just pin it and win it. Black has 1 check, but you can simply come up king b3. Pragg taking his time to finish off his opponent, and he does this brilliantly because he's not rushing into it, he's not nervous. He finds the move. Magnus Carlsen resigns. Praggnanandhaa scores an incredible win here. Kind of flawless. Yes, he made a couple of errors, but most of his moves were incredibly high level and accurate. Magnus has his first loss here in Las Vegas and comes at the cost of his teammate Praggnanandhaa. Magnus rearranging the pieces in the freestyle position that he was given, but cannot do that right now. He's upset. Victory for Praggnanandhaa here.